Dr. Nabi Hassan, librarian, IIT New Delhi, and all the participants, a very good morning to you all. I, Professor Preeti Mahajan, on behalf of the Department of Library Information Science, Punjab University, Chandigarh, and on my own behalf, welcome you all in the 18th webinar, which is a part of the webinar series being hosted by the department on the theme Information Generation, Dissemination, and Use During COVID-19 Lockdown. The webinar series are being organized at a time of an extraordinary situation emerging out of the global pandemic and the consequent lockdown, when almost everything has come to an abrupt halt throughout the world, and the academic world is not an exception. In such a situation, online learning and online meeting has become a new normal for all of us to complete the syllabi, as well as also as a platform for continuous professional development. The theme of the webinar series thus was selected in order to update the professional knowledge through dissemination of information on cutting edge technology and utilize the period of lockdown in productive academic activity. My dear participants, let me now introduce the speaker of the webinar here today. Dr. Nabi Hassan is a librarian and head, Central Library, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Earlier, he has served as the University Librarian of Aligarh Muslim University. He was the first Norman E. Borlaug Fellow from India in Library Information Systems. He has also won the Boni Heldrich International Librarian Award in 2018 and has also been conferred with the SLP SLA Asian Fellow Award in 2019. He has recently been conferred with the Royal Society of Chemistry's Librarian's Choice Award for Dynamic Librarianship 2019. Dr. Hassan is also the recipient of the Vice Chancellor's Appreciation Award in 2003 for exemplary work and conduct, appreciation from the Chairman Board of Governors IIT Delhi in 2012, appreciations from the Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University in 2018, Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015, appreciation certificate from IEEE twice, and other such recognitions from reputed organizations. Dr. Hassan has an experience over 25 years of active library services and postgraduate teaching and has published 16 books and 140 papers or articles, which he has to his credit. He has successfully implemented many innovative library projects, including 3 World Bank ICAR-assisted library projects. Currently, he is heading the National Resource Center in Library Information Sciences of the Ministry of HRD, Government of India, as coordinator under the ERPIT MOOCs program. Today, Dr. Hassan would be speaking on mapping and maximizing academic visibility and impact of research output, which is very important topic of understanding for any person in the academic field. May I now request Dr. Hassan to enlighten us with his thoughts, please. Dr. Hassan, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, madam. Please allow me to share my PPT.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
thank
Just
you.
a minute. Just a minute.
It has already been done.
Okay.
So, is my PPT visible?
It will take a few seconds, but
Okay.
we've started sharing it. And Dr. Hassan, we are all going to mute ourselves and video भी हम लोग उसको turn off कर रहे हैं अभी.
That would be great. That would be great.
So that there's no issue.
In fact, I myself, my video will also be turned off later on, so that we can have a better visibility of PPT and broadcasting. So, is my PPT in full escape now? Hello.
It will take few seconds, sir.
Okay.
Once
it is okay, let me. Okay. What is okay? Let me know so that I can start.
Sure.
Start. Yes, it is now.
Yes,
now
it is
okay. It is okay.
Okay. friends, it's really a proud privilege to speak on such an interesting topic. That too for Punjab University Chandigarh, which is one of my favorite institution. I was sharing with Professor Preeti Mahajan, madam, that their librarian, Mr. A.R. Shetty, was the person who gave me the first break. Many people may not be aware. I worked in Himachal Pradesh Agriculture University as assistant librarian and deputy librarian during 1997 to 2009, before I joined IIT Delhi in 2009. So Mr. A.R. Shetty was the person who gave me first break as a assistant librarian at Palampur, and I was a consistent visitor to Punjab University Chandigarh Library. I was taking ideas from him, those ideas which I could implement in Himachal Pradesh Agriculture University. So thank you very much, madam, for considering me for this webinar series.
Thank you.
That senior, you have already invited so many reputed persons. I am not of that level, but still I will try to be up to your expectations. And thank you, viewers, that you could spare your valuable time on this weekend. So what I will try to do is that yeah, is my PPT fully visible? I hope.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. So like now you see that there is a race for you can say ranking, and in this race Punjab University Chandigarh is always ahead of most of the universities. And from a couple of years the race is very close. Otherwise other institutions were lagging behind comparing Punjab University Chandigarh because of their high citations and because of the paper they are publishing quality papers. So what I'm trying to do today is that I will try to share with you my observations, how we can map in a better way the publications or research or how you can improve your visibility in a positive way as a academician, as a researcher, as a teacher of your institution. So if you are able to improve your visibility, obviously, if you are able to improve your visibility, you can improve the visibility of your institutions as well. If your citations are more, that will be added to your institute's total citation count as well. And if you are improving your H-index, the H-index of your institution will also improve. So I think this is a very important, topic. I may not be expert of this topic, but still I will try to justify my position. But the main purpose of this lecture will be to help improve the visibility of your institution and to help your personal visibility as well on a positive note. We are making use of many things, whether it is social media or Ultimatrix tool or other tools. So everything is positive if you are taking in a positive manner. So let me start with this. So this is I think, madam, I have time until 12 o'clock roughly.
Yes, you can take even more than that.
Okay, so let me try to complete it in 1 hour, but it depends how much interest you are taking.
No issue. You can go up to 12:15 also,
Okay.
or 12:20 as well. No issues
Okay,
at all.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, so this is the outline of my presentation. Like I will be covering some research evaluation. Then I will be talking about different bibliographic, scientometric, or mapping tools. So the basic purpose will be not to train you for everything, but I will be telling you something about everything. Why I will be telling you something about everything? Because I wish that once my presentation is over, whenever you have a comfortable time, you can explore these products, because in 1 hour you cannot complete everything, but at least you should have an exposure that these are some of the good resources, services, and tools which can help improve your institute's ranking, or which can help improve your personal visibility as an academician, as a researcher. So I will be talking about many things, especially with the help of screenshot instead of sticking to the theoretical component, I would like to use mostly the you can say screenshot of practical things. Okay. So then we will be discussing about citation analysis, H-index, impact factor, and other related parameters. We know about H-index, but there are other indices as well. We can talk about those things. Then I will be discussing about tools or sites to increase the visibility of research output and public perception with examples. Then we will be discussing about alternative metrics as well, like Altimetrics, like ResearchGate, Academia, or some other tools. So they can also help improve your visibility. It is not only the H-index, because in social sciences or library science, publishing a paper in a impact factor journal is almost impossible, or publishing a paper in a Scopus or Web of Science index journal is almost impossible. So this is how we can with the help of these tools, if you are able to achieve good altimetric score instead of H-index, that is also equally important. Then I will also be discussing about the role of librarian in mapping and maximizing the visibility of research output. Let me make it clear that librarian here means anyone dealing with librarianship. It may be a teacher of library science, it may be a library professional as well. So don't take the word librarian as a person who is working in a library. It may be a teacher of library science as well, like a professor of library science. Then sometimes you are really doing great job, you are working very hard, you are contributing a lot for your institution, department, and the profession in general, but sometimes you are not able to convey the good thing that you are doing. With the help of many screenshot, I will be sharing with you how we can market our work. I mean, it depends upon the institution to institution. Like I am in IIT Delhi. In IIT Delhi, if you are personally marketing the thing, if you are marketing yourself, that is not taken as a positive thing. For example, Professor Preeti has given me this great opportunity to be one of the speakers in a webinar series. So that is an honor for me. Still, I could not share it on my walls, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram bar, because personal promotion is not considered very good in IIT Delhi system. But when I was University Librarian of Aligarh Muslim University, it's a great institution. You all know it's the largest library system in India, having almost 120 libraries, 300, 400 employees, and many great things. I came back to IIT Delhi because IIT Delhi offered me really a great position of heading the library, and because of family reason. But when I was in AMU, the culture was different. You have to market everything. Whatever you are doing in the library, you need to market through you can say social media, or through you can say through newspapers and everything. Only then people may recognize you that the library is doing some good work. Otherwise people may not be aware. So marketing is very important, but you have to market keeping in view the mood of the people in that area, in that institution. So on the basis of all my these different aspects, I will be summing up at the end of the presentation. So this is the screenshot. Let me tell you, although I will be formally acknowledging at the end of the presentation, but I have taken different images from different sources. So I do not own these images. I duly acknowledge all those things that I have taken from internet for helping you to understand. So already there is lot of disruptive technology. These all like social media, or including Wikipedia, or like your WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Google, all these are known as disruptive technologies. Means they are distracting you while you are working on a system. You are also seeing WhatsApp simultaneously, you seeing Facebook posts, you are seeing how many likes I've received, how many views I have for my videos on YouTube. Basically these are disruptive technologies. So with the help of this presentation, I would like to tell you or share with you that how you can make positive use of these disruptive technology, how these technology may become you can say supportive technologies. Okay, so there is positive side of every story. You should not take anything negative. Like if your son is using social media, you should try to see for what he is using social media. It is not necessary that he might be using social media for the wrong reasons only. So this is basically the knowledge generation cycle, the knowledge generation cycle. Even if you are writing a paper, doing research, or if you want to publish paper, it start from thinking, and finally you end up with seeing the impact of your work, like how many citations you have received, or what is the positive side of your paper that you have published, or what is the positive side of your you can say research. So this is whole the knowledge generation cycle started from thinking, then to idea, to search, analyze, and finally publishing and seeing the impact through different citations or through different peers, you can say comments or feedback. So let me discuss with you how research is evaluated. So like if you are doing some research in PU or some at some other place, so how you can say that your research is good, or your research is well taken, or you are doing a good research. Okay, sometimes people used to compliment you, Kushpreet, you are doing a great work in the department. If somebody, or Professor Preeti, you are doing a great work, or Neeraj Singh, you are doing a great work in the Punjab University Library. How people can say that they are doing great work? People are saying that you people are doing great work on the basis of some parameters. The parameters may be like if you are doing some good research, your research may be evaluated, your research may be rewarded or awarded. How it can be rewarded? I mean, somebody may get the highest one, maybe Nobel Prize. If a person from Punjab University Chandigarh is getting the Nobel Prize, obviously the impression of the institution may go very high, and you will be known. Arey, Professor Preeti, you are from the same institution from where the person has got the Nobel Prize for 2019. Okay, so like if your colleague in like biotechnology is getting a Bhatnagar award, obviously your reputation goes up. Then there are many other awards, including like Nasi Scopus Award. Scopus Award are now very popular. So there may be n number of awards. So another evaluation criteria may be like innovation. If you are able to file patent, or if some patent is awarded, or if you are doing some innovation, obviously the impression of the institute goes high. Then there are many academic awards or higher degrees. If you are getting some higher academic award, like there may be many awards in library science, and if you have been given some award which is recognized by a society. I'm not discussing the awards which are given in the conferences. You give me award, I will give you award. So those, everybody is a best recipient of best teacher award, everybody is a recipient of best librarian award in India, everybody is recipient of a best paper award. But if these awards are given by some societies, some important bodies, which are recognized bodies, then these award matters a lot, and they improves the impression of your institution, your department, and as an individual as well. Then international make, if like PU is getting good international students, or PU is figuring in good ranking, I mean its ranking is good, obviously people will be attracted, or people will be saying that PU is doing good work. Then with the help of different tools like citation analysis, bibliometrics, scientometrics, or autometrics, if you are doing some analysis of an institution like IIT Delhi or PU, then obviously if citations are very high, or if the institution is figuring in a really good rank, like it has good rank in NRF or QS or Times Higher Education or Chinese agency, so obviously the impression goes very high. Then peer evaluation is also important. If your colleagues are appreciating you, like I would like to appreciate Department of Library Science, that they are holding really great webinar series. Why they are, everybody is holding webinar series? I think SLA, Special Library Association USA, was one of the first organizations which started webinar series long back. I also I have already completed 11 webinars by international speakers. So if Punjab University Chandigarh Library Science Department is doing good work, and which is appreciated by the peers means the people from the same profession. Like I am appreciating that you people are really doing good job, or Professor SP Singh called me that Professor Preeti is doing good work, will you be able to spare time for their webinar? So these are basically compliments which help us to improve the impression of the department or the people uh, in general or in profession. Then there are many evaluation systems uh, I have noted here APIs. So API is for individuals, like if you are able to score good marks as per your publications or research projects or other events, like you are holding as a organizing secretary webinar or something like that. So that will help you to improve your reputation. So this may help you to improve the reputation of the institution, the department, and as an individual as well. Now, talk about the ranking of journal. Ranking of journal, please, listeners, please forgive me. It is a little bit technical presentation as well, because these terms are sometimes difficult to understand in one slide. Okay, so just try to understand that sometimes there may be some difficult terms that you can, explore later on. You can explore later on once you are comfortable. Okay, just a second. Okay, so ranking of journal is also important. Ranking of journal help you to decide where to publish your article for maximum impact. I understand the people from the social science or library science, it is very difficult for them to publish a paper in a high impact journal. Only few journals are indexed in the Scopus or Web of Science database, like Desktop Journal, or you can say Annals or Coordinate Journal. Couple of journals are indexed only. But the thing is that at least you can, as a librarian or as a library professional, library science teacher, you can help your colleagues to publish in good impact factor journals, and you can tell them how impact factor is calculated and what is the importance of having published in a good impact factor journal. It helps in professional growth, like promotions, grant. If you have published even a single paper, let me share with you one example, that a Nobel laureate who has got the Nobel Prize 2 years back, when he was appointed in Harvard University, he was having only one paper. Just one paper was there when he was appointed as an assistant professor, and the institution could see the quality of his paper, and his paper was evaluated that way, or on the basis of his work in that paper he was given the position of assistant professor in Harvard, and he was made professor as well in next 6 year. The people who were sitting in the selection committee, they were so visionary people that they could identify the talent of that person, and after 15 year, they could see that the person has been awarded with Nobel Prize. So as a library science teacher or professional, I think you can help your people to identify the talent. How talented identified? Like there are various ways and means. If somebody is having really good citation count and other thing, which I will be sharing in next few slides. So number of citations received is also a major criteria in selection for the awards, including Nobel. I will share with you a couple of screen in which some of the people already predicted this, who is going to be the next Nobel laureate in this subject, on the basis of the citation count and the popularity of his papers in the citation and Scopus and Web of Science databases. Then evaluation of journal help in publication in high impact journals and inviting good citation, obviously. Then frequently used as an evaluation tool by librarians for journal cancellation. Like when there is a budget cut, the libraries may also help universities to remove some of the journal which are really not worth. So these are some of the mapping or bibliographic or scientometric tools. Okay, I'm removing my video from there so that you can see my full slide. Okay. Okay, so these are some of the mapping, bibliographic or scientometric tools which can help you to judge what is really the impact of an institution or an individual or the publications produced by a particular institution like PU or IIT Delhi or any other institution. So like Scopus, Web of Science and Google Scholar. These are three important, you can say, bibliographic databases which provides you ready-made H index and you can say citation in citations as well. Then there are other important tools like Vidwan where you can enter your data which is visible to all free of cost. You may be invited as an expert, you may be invited as a resource person, you may be invited to submit a project if your uh, data is really good visible from through the Vidwan, and that Vidwan data you may convert it into IRNS, which is a research information management system. Then like ORCID, if you have a profile on ORCID, obviously you may leave a really good impact if you have good publications or citations as well. ORCID is like your academic Aadhaar card. It's like a Aadhaar card. Then there are other products, like I will be sharing a screenshot of all these products, so need not to worry going through the list. Then there is a product known as Elsewhere's Pure, which can provide you really ready-made beautiful graphs or analytics, but these are really costly products. Then there is insights from Clarivate Analytics or Web of Science. Then JCR can help you to understand the impact factor. Then there are some other parameters which are not very much known to all of you, but researchers know these. Like then there is a SJR journal and country rank. You might be knowing only about JCR, but SJR is also a very good important. Then there is another one known as CWTS journal indicator. Then another very good product from Google is Google Scholar, Publish or Perish. So Google Scholar is a you can say web-based. Google Scholar, Publish and Perish is a desktop edition. You need to install this Google Scholar, Publish and Perish on your system, and it can provide you better uh, better analysis or evaluation. Like in Google Scholar you will get only the H index, but in Google Scholar Publish or Perish you can get G index as well, so it can give you better analysis. I will be sharing with you in through screenshots. Then you have a like you need to understand impact factor and immediacy impact. You know about the impact factor, but you may not be knowing immediacy impact. So I will be sharing about. Then there is not only like H index, there is a related net index as well, which you need to understand. Like you cite me, I cite you. So what is the correlation between two journal when they are citing each other? Like many of the paper might have been cited by Decidoc journal from the annals, and annals may also be citing many papers to to Decidoc journal. So there is a correlation. Then Ultimatrix tools like Academia, ResearchGate, and other Plumex, etc. They are also very important. Now we have our own Desi product, Indian product known as Indian Citation Index. So the paper which are not indexed by Scopus or Web of Science or Google Scholar might have been indexed by Indian Citation Index. So we should promote such products as well. Although their criteria may not be that stringent, but with the passage of time, they will further improve it. Then the many of our journals are not in UGC list of journals or in you can say Scopus or Web of Science list of journals. So some of the institutions, organizations have come up with their own you can say criteria, like Indian Council of Agriculture Research has prepared its own list of journals, so that the paper published in those journals, like Punjab University Chandigarh might be publishing a journal in agricultural sciences, which may not be in UGC list of approved journals or Scopus or Web Science. It doesn't mean the journal is not worth. It may be more than worth. You might be publishing, like in Himachal Pradesh Agriculture University Palampur, we used to publish a Hindi journal known as Kheti Badi. So which was a very popular journal because it was coming from those farmers from their personal practices. That was very important in Hindi, but that was not indexed anywhere. So ICR or any other organization like CSIR may also come up with their own products, okay, so that the people are not discouraged that our paper is not indexed by Scopus. then we may also look into the ranking tools like NRF or QS or Times Higher Education, that how they are evaluating and how our institution is figuring in those agencies list. Then there is a UGC approved list of journals. You know, this is very much dynamic. Your journal may be there 2 years back, it may not be now, or it may be removed next year as well. So you need to understand that if you are publishing a journal, somewhere somehow it should be indexed. Okay, so you understand the citation index, uh, I think you have heard about this great person, Eugene Garfield. Do you know he's known as the grandfather of Google? uh, Organizers, I am audible and my PPT is visible properly, because it is a one-way communication.
Yes, 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 it is
So
clear.
if there is any issue, please knock me.
I'll do one thing. I'll put on my video so that if you can see me, if I have any problem, I'll do some sign and all that.
Okay, so
Right.
in case there is a problem, please knock me by voice,
Of course, of course.
because it's a one-way communication. Okay, so we are talking lot about Google and other things, and this person is basically the grandfather of you can say Google, because what Google is doing today, he has already introduced these things long back. Okay, the concept is developed by him starting with the magazine Science in 1955. Then he started the Science Citation Index in 1963. SCI print was available in 1960s. I think Professor Preeti and others may be aware that when we were searching for topics for the research for PhD and other things, it was very difficult to search through those huge volumes of tools like Science Citation Index, SCI print. Now you have everything available in databases. When I was in Palampur, we used to use you can say CD-ROM databases like Agris, Agricola, FSTA, Medline. These were the products, CAB International. Now everything is available online. And now some people might be thinking that Science Citation Index or Web of Science means science. No, Web of Science doesn't mean science only. In fact, it has 6 databases with 256 disciplines and available from 1900 onwards. So it has a social science citation index. It has arts and humanities citation index. So the name is Science Citation Index, but it covers different databases. As a Punjab University Chandigarh, you may not be having access to all the databases because you are also getting through ESS. Same is the case with IIT Delhi. But you may add other databases as well on subscription basis. So what is the need of citation? Why do we cite? Why do we give citation? I'm giving a citation in my paper. So these are some of the reasons why do people cite. If you are citing a paper, it is helping to provide background reading, then identifying a methodology. For example, if you are using in your paper Lotka's law or Zipf's law or Sen Gupta's law, so that helps in identifying a methodology. Then sometimes we try to pay the homage to the people who have really contributed for the profession, that by acknowledging some paper, we sometimes try to identify or acknowledge our great people like Ranganathan. If we are quoting Ranganathan, we might not necessarily have used the content of Ranganathan in that particular paper, but it may be a related content from where you might have taken some you can say motivation, so you are citing. Then sometimes we are trying to authenticate the data or reproduce the data. Then sometimes there are some corrections or updates on a particular paper or concept. And sometimes we also try to criticize or disclaiming someone's that the law given by a particular person is not actually correctly interpreted, and this is the correct one. So citations are an indicator of an article's impact and usefulness to the research community. They are mode by which people acknowledge each other's research. Okay. So then why citation analytics, bibliometrics, scientometrics we are doing now? You can see that most of the, even maybe 50% of the PhDs in library information science is in scientometrics, because you can do the research by sitting on computer itself. It's very easy. Okay, so why we are doing these type of concept analysis or scientometric research? Because it helps in theoretical mapping, like conceptual mapping, and then delineating scholarly communities and intellectual structure. Then we try to highlight the importance of a particular author, like you want to know the highest contributing author from Punjab University Chandigarh, so only these tools can help. You can visit Scopus Web of Science or Google Scholar, because Google Scholar, if you have created a profile on Google Scholar, only then you can see. Otherwise you need to visit Scopus or Web of Science to see. All these databases, whether Scopus or Web Science or your personal scientometric evaluation, these are basically helping to identify the highly cited papers, or the person who are contributing more, or in which area the research is going well. And also it is helping you to establish in the profession, and to attract the institutions and the people to give you award and reward, or help you in your promotion and recruitment as well. Okay, so let's talk about a bit talk about H index. So H index was proposed by J. Hirsch as an index to quantify an individual scientific research output and its impact. So the definition is a little bit difficult, but the technical definition is little bit difficult, but I mean, I will try to help you to understand in a really very simple manner. The definition says that a scientist has index H if H of his or her N papers have at least H citation each, and the other uh, N minus H papers have uh, 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 lower than or H set. So what I'm trying to say is that I mean, in a very simple terms, I will explain you in next couple of screens, although don't go by definition. So H index is automatically calculated by Scopus Web of Science, Google Scholar, and or the desktop version of Google Scholar that is published or Paris. So in this screen you can see, you can okay, let me make it more visible. Pointer. Okay, pen. Okay, so you arrange you can arrange a number of papers on one axis and number of citation on another axis. When both are clashing, okay, that becomes your H index. In a more simple way, you can see here, like this screen is from Scopus, and the paper have been arranged into increasing order, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 23. Okay, and the citation have been arranged in the decreasing order, like the paper which has got the maximum citation is at number 1. Okay, the first paper might have got 100 citations, second 50 citations, or 30 citations. When both are matching, like 23 papers have received at least 23 citations. Okay, so when this is matching, that becomes your H index. So this is very simple. Don't go by the definition. Definition is really very difficult. So arrange your paper in the serial order, increasing order 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and arrange your citation in the decreasing order. Means the paper which has got the highest citation should be at first place. Okay, when both are matching, that becomes your H index. Like 23 papers have received at least 23 citations, so that becomes your H index. Okay, so here the H index of this person is 23. Although the document by this author are 182, and the total citations received by this person is 3110, but his H index is 23. Okay, so like how to find the H index in Scopus? I don't know whether you have the subscription to Scopus or not, because it's a costly product. But if you have a Scopus, you can ready-made, you can get the H index ready-made. Like you need to type the name of the author, first name and last name. Then the name of the author will appear here. You click it. Okay. Once you click it, you can then, once you click it, you can see the H index of this person. Okay, in the same way, when you are you want to see the H index of a person using Web of Science, because Web of Science is available in most of the institution, you type the name of the author and the name, then you need to click the view citation report. Once you will click the view citation report, you can see the H index in this way, like total 248 publication, H index is 36. 36 means at least 36 of his papers have received 36 citations. So average citation that he received is 21.31, and his total citations are really good, but his H index is 36. So H index is generally not very high, because H index means those many papers have received at least those many citations. Your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 papers might have received 1000 citations each, but rest of the papers might have not received many citations. So that is why H index is generally not that high. So it is not only the H index of the individuals or author. The H index also applies in case of journals as well. Okay, like the procedure to calculate the H index of journal and author is same, except the period of time selected. Like in case of H index of an author, we used to consider last 2 years, but in case of H index of a journal, we used to consider only 1 year. I would like to explain it with the help of a screenshot in couple of slides in a very easy manner. Okay, like finding H index for if you want to find the H index of a journal using Scopus or Web of Science or any other tool, it's very simple. Type the name of the journal. Okay, and then click that journal, and it will show you like this. Okay, the H index of this journal is H6. Okay, but try to remember that H index as impact factor is a different thing. H index is calculated in a different way, and impact factor is calculated in a different way. Impact factor is basically calculated by you can say Web of Science or Clarivate Analytics or through JCR. Okay, so finding H index for a journal in Scopus, so it is easy. I have already explained you. Then the most important thing that is that when I was in Aligarh Muslim University, we came to know that before declaring a result for National Institution Ranking Framework or other by QS or any other ranking, they used to send you the final data. Okay, to have a look and to verify the data. So when I was in Aligarh Muslim University, we could see that the ranking of the AMU was showing little bit low. Okay, so we were surprised that our publication, everything is very good. Why we don't have those many papers, those many citations? Then we could try to identify the reason. Then we came to know that Aligarh Muslim University has been cited by different variants. Like the most popular institution in AMU is its medical college. Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, one of the most popular institution from where lot of papers are coming and with lot of citations. So we could know that the entry of that medical college was not affiliated with AMU. It was a different entity. Then it's engineering college, which is you can say Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology was a different entity, and then the AMU was a different entity. Then we helped the NRF to merge all the entities, and our ranking was improved a lot. We in the same way, for example, for Professor Preeti Mahajan. Preeti Mahajan is a very common name. There may be many Preeti Mahajan in different subject areas. So we need to merge all the Preeti Mahajans. Her 10 papers may be at one place with one Scopus ID, her another 10 paper maybe with another Scopus ID. So we need to help merge all the papers so that the ranking may improve. Here you can say I have taken the example of IIT Delhi, and IIT Delhi has been reflected with different name like Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Technology Delhi, IIT Delhi. So you have to merge all the profiles into one. Only then you can have a better ranking, better citation. All the genuine things should be together. And also you need to remove the paper which do not belong to you or your institution. So there is a provision in all the databases, whether it is a Scopus or Web of Science, to merge all these things on your own. Okay. In the same way, the highest number of papers produced in IIT Delhi is by Professor Bhim Singh. but there were we could find that there were various various variants of Professor Bhim Singh. So his papers was number of paper was reduced. So we can help our faculty, or we can our own. There are two people who can request for the merging. It is either the individual himself or the head of the library has been given due importance by these databases to request for the merging of the variants. See, okay. So in the same way, you can identify what are the subject domain in which your institution is working really good, and then you can suggest accordingly to your vice chancellor or the dean academics or dean research. Sir, our institution is lagging behind in this particular area, so let's try to contribute or submit project in this area. Okay, like you can see, I was discussing with you regarding Professor Bhim Singh. You can see there is a Professor Bhim Singh, there is a professor. Both are same person. 364 papers of this person are with different Scopus ID, and 762 papers of this persons were with different ID. You can see here, you can see Professor Bhim Singh, here you can see Professor Bhim Singh. Okay, so when you are making a request to merge the profile, all those papers will be merged, and its total number of papers will become very high, and accordingly the number of citations will also become very high. So what I am trying to say is that as a library professional or as a library science teacher, as a teacher you have so many PhD students as well, you should try to help your institution in these smaller activities, and immediately you can see that there will be a jump in the ranking of the institution. See, there are different variant of this Professor Bhim Singh, and we try to merge these. Sometimes we are not taking into conference even faculty as well, but we are behind the scene, we are working very hard. So apart from those, there are another ranking effort which is very genuine, which is known as SJR, SciMago Journal and Country Rank SJR. So this is also giving you a different type of angry, like its journal ranking different. Like if you don't want to consider the impact factor, you can consider these parameters as well. So this gives ranking to the journals, and it also, then there is another agency, CWTS. These are basically academic and research institution. These are not commercial agencies, so their ranking is very genuine. Then you know about JCR. JCR is giving you basically the impact factor. It's also a paid product, but sometimes people help us to provide the PDF file of the ranks of the journals. It is generally released in June, so you don't have this year's ranking as of now. Then how the impact factor is calculated? It is very simple. Citation received in 2009 for the papers published in 2017 and 18, or in another way, uh, this is immediacy index, like citations achieved to the papers of 2019 in 2019 itself. In another simple language, I can tell you that how you can calculate the impact factor. For example, total number of papers, total number of citations received in for the papers of 2018 and 17 are 5792, and total number of paper published in those 2 years was 40. So it is very simple. Total number of citations divided by total number of papers, so that becomes your impact factor. So calculation is not very difficult. You can easily calculate. People are thinking that these are difficult things. If you want to calculate the immediacy index, it is like number of citations received for the papers of the same year, like number of citations received to the paper of 2019 in the 2019 itself. So that becomes your immediacy index. Related net index is like sometimes the people are citing each other. I mean, journals are citing each other. Like I am saying you that in conferences, what happens? You give me award, I will give you award in another conference. In the same way, journals are also doing. Like the authors of one journal, the authors of the papers publishing in a particular journal are citing to another journal's paper. So they are citing papers of each other. So that is known as related net. A correlation is established. Okay. Then there is a product known as Insight. It's a very costly product from Clarivate Analytics. So when you are downloading the data from Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, other sites, this insight product helps you to provide you ready-made result. It analyzes on its own and it gives you really beautiful. These type of products are basically for administrator like vice chancellor, registrar, or deans, because they need ready-made data of their institution. How many paper from my institution, how many citation. So these type of products can you can say generate really great graphs and analytics. So this is a screenshot taken from Google Scholar Publish or Perish. Okay, so if you install a Google Publish or Perish, it's free product. You can see other parameters also. Like in case of Google Scholar, you can see only H index. But in case of Google Publish and Perish, you can see G index as well. So G index is basically consider only core papers, the paper which are receiving more citations, top cited papers. So in case of G index, generally G index is generally double of your H index. So it also has some formula, but it consider only the important papers. Like this is the person who has the maximum number of papers from India, and I think he's the only third person in India who has got the Bharat Ratna on the basis of its scientific. Other people are Raman and Dr. Kalam. So see, his so many papers and with so many citations. Okay, but as I was trying to tell you that the person may have different variant. Like you can see there are different variants of CNR Rao. If you are not merging only variants of this person, then his total number of papers may not be accurately reflected. Okay, see his H index is really great, which is always above 100, even though his H index is continuously down nowadays, because obviously in this age he may not be writing. But see, his most of the papers are in collaboration. Means his student or his researchers or project team might be writing the paper with him, so that he may have more papers. Otherwise, it is very difficult to write paper as a single author. Okay, so this is the H index of CNR from Web of Science. It was 131. Now it is coming down sharply, because yesterday I have taken this figure yesterday night. Why it is coming down? Because he is not receiving those many citations now, because he is not writing new papers, new projects, etc. So as I have already discussed with you that H index and G index is a different thing, and G index consider only the prime or highly cited papers, and G index is generally it may be double of the H index. So this is all the details how the G index is calculated. Okay, so this is the person who has the highest citation in the world. So this is just for your reference that the person who has the highest citation in the world has H index of 232 using Scopus, and his H index like this person, the name of this person was already predicted to be the most probable person for chemistry Nobel in 2012, and he has got that Nobel as well on the basis of his work and some of the top papers which received the highest citations. So he was one of the Nobel laureate predicted in advance because of his research work. As far as country rankings are concerned, these are very important. How your country rank may improve if your institution is doing great, contributing a lot, getting good citation, getting good number of papers, you are doing a good work, you are basically helping your country as well. Like so many papers, many citation, many contributors will get good ranking for your country as well. So this is yesterday's screenshot I have taken in the late night. So India here, as far as documents are concerned, it is at number 9. You can see the document, citable document, citation, self-citation. See, self-citations are also counted. Try to avoid giving self-citation. See, then you have a QS ranking. These are latest released QS ranking as well. Only 3 Indian institutions figured in top 200 institutions: perhaps IIT Delhi, Indian Institute of Science, and IIT Bombay. So, I mean, why I'm trying to say is that because PU is contributing a lot, if you are figuring in top 100 or top 200, then you are helping your country, your institution as an individual as well. So these are another ranking which are known as Times Higher Education ranking. So you should try to help your institution to figure somewhere in these ranking agencies as well. But the most important ranking agency for us for government institutions like PU or IIT Delhi is NIRF, National Institution Ranking Framework. So here you can see that these are the latest ranking released last week only. So we should try to help our institution to figure at really top position. From a couple of years, I don't know, PU is a little bit lagging behind, but it was always a #1 institution. There may be like IIT Delhi has also fallen in QS ranking. So my director shared that our numbers, our parameters, our citation, everything has improved, but the problem is that we have recruited so many young faculty, and it takes time for a new faculty to contribute to write paper, to give to get citations. So you have to see positively. Okay, it is not, if your ranking is going down, it may not always be a negative sign. It may you may bounce back after a couple of years as well, because you might have recruited new people. Okay, so these are top Indian institutions from Scopus I have taken yesterday only. So basically, if you see what your ranking is in Scopus, almost same ranking is reflected in Times Higher Education ranking and in you can say QS ranking as well. So what does this mean? It simply means that as many paper as you can contribute, as many citations as you can get, will help you get good rank for your institution, for you as well. Okay, so this is the Punjab University Chandigarh's graph taken yesterday, how you are figuring. So I mean, it is continuously going up, but others might be getting little bit more citation. This may be because of many issues, like now from couple of years Punjab University Chandigarh might have issues with funding as well. If you are not able to fund properly your faculty and other people, then you have issues. Then you need to help your faculty to understand the patent searching system as well. Okay, so because filing patent is very important, even if the patent might not have been awarded to you, but you should try to help your faculty to how to file the Indian patent or US patent or UK patent. Okay, then there is another new product known as Elsevier's Pure. There is only one customer as of now of this product, which is Manipal Institute, which is a private institution, very costly product, but it can help you to map your whole institution's data and to present in really a great manner. You need not to do any analysis. You need not to download any data. For example, Punjab University Chandigarh might be doing great in artificial intelligence. Now you would like to see that which are the other institutions which are doing great in artificial intelligence. So you need to add those institutions or the people of those institutions only once, and it will automatically fetch the results, and it will give you the beautiful graphs from different parts of the world. So these are some of the really commercial product which are very good, but these are very costly. But try to understand that the source of data for all these product is their databases. Like for Elsevier Pure, it is mainly Scopus, and for Insight, it's mainly Web of Science. So they have created products out of product. See, now if we cannot index our journal in Scopus and Web of Science, we have Indian products as well, like Indian Citation Index. In the same way, we have indianjournals.com, which indexes the journal, Indian journal, which may not be there in Scopus or Web of Science. Then as a library professional or as a library science teacher, you can help your institution to provide smart library services. Smart library services may help you to improve the visibility of the institution, that particular department, or that individual as well. And these services are mostly free, like Ask the Librarian interface, like different type of newspaper clippings online, or magazine clippings, or newsletters, or like you can create IRNS. PU already has it, or you can provide services using different library apps, or you can create some algorithm based or artificial intelligence based discovery system. It is more than a discovery services. We are at IIT Delhi, we are helping, we are trying to do some good work with the help of Nimbus, and then we have a EDS as well. So this is a screenshot from IIT Delhi. Now, if you want to see the H index of a particular department, for example, if you want to see the H index of Department of Library Information Science of PU, it is not possible using Scopus or Web of Science automatically. But if you are using IRNS, you can see the H index of a particular department as well. And the backend database is basically Vidwan only. You need to feed the data in Vidwan because many of the publications are not indexed by published by your faculty but not indexed by Scopus and Web of Science. So this is IIT Delhi's screen. Now this is a Punjab University Chandigarh's screen. So when this lady will see her photo reflected on top 3 people have reflected photograph, they feel really very happy. My faculty also feel very happy when they are seeing their photo, like Professor Veem Singh or any other Professor Harpal Singh or any other person. So these are free product. The government of India, MHRD, has given this project to InflibNet, and I think you should take advantage. You should, means PU is already doing it. The people who are listening me, they should try to create Vidwan database. Even if your faculty is not helping, you take the data of the faculty from their website, from their departmental website, and you create a database. But you have to see the disparities. Sometimes we have to see the disparities as well. Okay. Like I was just searching the library. I gave the word library in PU's IRNS database, and I could see only few people like Neeraj Kumar Singh, Professor Preeti, Rakesh Mahindra, Koshpreet, Shiv Kumar. Where is GVS Bansal? Where are other faculty members? It means the data in the Vidwan and IRNS is not complete. It is incomplete. Since it is incomplete, although the good thing is that somebody has merged library and department both. They are keeping both the people, but why all the people have not been giving their data? If the people are not giving their data, they have not created Vidwan profile. I think somebody in the university or institution should be given the responsibility. You can take the local approval from the vice chancellor or dean that we are creating data. I have the approval from the Senate. So if I am creating any profile of any person, if somebody has objection, I can remove that objection. I can help remove that. But the data should be there. See, the madam's photograph is not there. It means if the madam's photograph is uploaded, it will look better. Although madam has really great visibility as far as her publications and citations are concerned. So I would request people like PU and other to complete the database. Should have all the profiles of all the faculty members in the Vidwan, which are reflected in IRNS as well. Okay, so this is IIT Delhi's IRNS, and you can see this is the only product which can tell you the H index of the department. Like the department's H index is chemical, electrical engineering, H index is 100. You cannot see H index of a department in any product, whether it is Scopus, Web of Science, or any other product. You have to do that manually. That is also almost impossible. Although it may not be giving you the correct data, because it is taking the data from Scopus or Researcher ID or web, like Google Scholar. So Google Scholar's data is real time, but sometimes the data of Scopus and Web of Science is not added immediately, because although Scopus is using free API, but sometimes it is not on real time basis. So that the problem may be there, but at least everything is available at one time. If somebody want to see the publication count of a particular department, one can go to the IRNS database, can see the department, can see the publications of all the faculty members. Although I'm sorry to say that many of the faculty members are not happy with this type of product because they are exposed. Means the other colleagues are also able to see their publication and citation count, but you cannot hide the things because you are a public servant, you are covered by RTI. Why don't we have all the data together? So the good thing, like in IIT Delhi, we have a chemical engineering department, we have a chemistry department as well. So if director want to compare which is contributing better, like chemistry or chemical engineering, so they can compare using this type of products. And it gives really great picture. Like it is my profile, and you can see the contributors. Like I have collaboration with 71 persons, and all my data, beautiful data is presented. Although I don't have good many publications, but at least the look wise it looks good. It looks good. Like you can see this profile of Professor Preeti Mahajan. So madam, please upload your photo. It should not be left blank. So you can see.
I will
So
certainly do that. Thank
so
you.
see, this is the profile which I have taken yesterday night 1:10 a.m. Okay, so you can see madam has really great papers. She has got lot many citations. Her H index is 14. 14 H index for a library professional is really great because most of our papers are not indexed by indexing agencies. So you can see madam has papers with 14 contributors, and it is showing that how many papers she has with which person. So it is showing here. Can you see this type of data in Scopus and Web of Science? You cannot see many of the things in Scopus and Web of Science. So try to promote such type of government products. Then as a library professional or as a professor of library science, you should try to make institutes or departments or individual output visible through different things. Like this is IT Delhi's latest website, and we have a really great search box here. And with the help of search box or with the help of main pages, you can highlight your important faculty members. If your some of the faculty members are doing great work, obviously it require approval from the highest authority. So you can highlight those faculty members with the photograph with their details, that they are doing good work and they have got these type of awards. Then as a institution, like in IIT Delhi, the newsletter which IIT Delhi was publishing was Between the Lines, and you will be surprised to know that I started that newsletter as a deputy librarian. I was not even the head of the library that time. So in the same way, your institute may have a great newsletter, your alumni association may have a great newsletter, and you can provide the news clipping services on a daily, monthly, or weekly basis. All these services are free. It's just a matter of synchronizing your effort. It may take 1 or 2 hours daily of some staff, but it gives you a lot of visibility. For example, your vice chancellor is in USA. He want to have feeling of what is happening in PU on daily basis. So these news clipping in the form of PDF files may help you to get all the details. Okay. Then I mean, with the help of these different type of institute publication like press release and other things, if you are uploading on institute website, people are able to see. Then in the same way, IIT Delhi has a circular system, means head of the departments of all the department, including librarian, has been given an authority to send mail to all in one go. Like all faculty, if I am sending mail to all faculty at circular, any mail may go to everyone in a single go. So it means if I am hosting a outreach program like workshop or webinar, if sending a mail, immediately the faculty or the student reacts and they are able to join. So this is a great effort. The people who are not having such a mailing system should try to have it. Then as a librarian or a professor of library science or library science teacher, our job is to help our people to understand that there are good searching mechanism which you can use without wasting your time. Like if you are searching the Google, do you know that Google is not able to fetch 75% information? It is almost fetching from 25% content on the web. So as a librarian, you can help how you can better fetch the information. You can have a library app, like IIT Delhi has created a library app, and you can create other facilities. Like IIT Delhi Central Library is having Drupal based website which has a search interface. And like if you want to search Navi Hasan name may not be here, but if you will type here, it will immediately be appearing. So you can create such a system that everything is discoverable. This was with the help of Nimbus. Then many of the sites like Google, if you are using normal search, they are not able to face 75% of data. So as a library professional, you should be able to tell your faculty members that there are other good techniques through which you can fetch the data. For example, there are meta search engines. So meta search engines are basically fetching the information. You are now the host of this event. Okay. Okay, so meta search engines. So like the information which the Google is unable to fetch may be fetched through these meta search engines. Means these searches information from search engine. If you are searching something through Metacrawler, it will search through Google, Yahoo, Bing, and all the. So you should also be aware of meta search engines. Like, and then there are some of the search engines which are using semantic search. It is web 3.0 based, like they are making use of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Then as a librarian, you should be able to tell your people, okay, if you want to search information only about chemistry, why are you searching through Google? There are some subject gateway which is dealing with the chemistry, so you should search through Google subject gateway. Like this is a subject gateway info port from InfluNet. So you can search only a particular discipline. Like if you want to search for religion, you can search through religion only. Then you should create an institution repository where you should upload faculty's publication. Apart from thesis and other things, you should also try to upload your annual report and departmental proceeding manual as well. As a librarian, nobody is going to stop you if you are able to take the approval from your vice chancellor. Then this thing many people are doing, like Scopus APIs are free. Even if you are not subscribing to Scopus, you can create this type of RSS feed where if the publication from institute is appearing in Scopus Index Journal, it will immediately be appeared and the faculty will be happy to see his or her names. Then as a library professional or as a department of library information science, you can create research support services. Like if people are coming to you, I have created these services recently. So if a person is coming to you for the analysis of his department or individual, if your vice chancellor is interested, please do a scientometric study of my publication, so that you should be able to tell the people through your one of the units. So this is a list of ICR journals which they have created if they are not indexed in Scopus or Web of Science. Then UGC's scoring system is why I am mentioning it because if you are publishing a paper, try to publish a paper in a journal which is indexed either by Scopus Web of Science, ICI, or is included in UGC's care list of journals. Okay. So the role of librarian is mapping and maximizing the impact of very important, because as a librarian or library professional or teacher, you can tell the people what are the different resources, services, and products and tools which can help you improve institutions or individuals' visibility. Okay, like you should tell your people or faculty members to create profile on PU's or institutions website. They should create profile on ResearchGate or ORCID or Vidwan or Academia or Google Scholar or SlideShare, upload PPTs there, create profile on EPG Pathshala or SWAM or LinkedIn is also. Then they can also make use of social networking like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Wikipedia, everything. So if you are taking these things positively, nothing is bad. These are disruptive technologies, but these technologies can help you if you are taking these in a positive way. Like I have given Nabi Hasan in the Google search, and all Nabi Hasan belong to me only. How it is possible? Because I have created my profile everywhere. So I am really visible. Although I am not a good contributor to the discipline, many people do not know me, but still my name is figuring. Like this is from my IIT Delhi website. This is from Google Scholar, this is from LinkedIn, this is from my Aligarh Muslim University, and this is from ORCID. And these are automatically fetched, and my videos are also figuring here. These are the videos of my Arpit MOOCs program. So what I'm trying to say is that you should help your faculty to create profile on all the important sites so that they are visible, your institute is visible, and you have a better ranking and public perception. So you can help your faculty to have the knowledge of citation tools. You can also impart knowledge on similarity tools. You can, many of the, even I can see in IIT Delhi, the research scholars are not able to write proper English. Okay, they may have come from village background, their research skill, intellect level is great, but they are still not able to write properly. So you should use some English correcting software like IIT Delhi is using Grammarly. You can use some free as well like Ginger. So that way they can help improve your English. Like this is my website of IIT Delhi, and this is my personal domain. I am paying almost 2000 per annum for the renewal. So what I am creating here as a IIT Delhi profile for Nabi Hassan, same I am copying and pasting or dragging and dropping in my personal. So nabihassan.in, obviously it gives a good impression that I have a personal profile as well. Then obviously I have already discussed with you, should create ORCID profile, and it is very easy to create. It is not a, it will take just 1 or 2 minutes to create ORCID profile. In the same way, if you don't have a profile on Vidwan, it may take just 1 minute to create your Vidwan profile. And like Microsoft academic profile may also take couple of minutes to create. And then you should have a profile on Mendeley, Publons, or like you should try to use some Ultimatrix tool as well. Like this is from academia. Okay, and creating profile on academia is also not very difficult. You can log in through Google or Facebook. In the same way, you can have a profile on ResearchGate, which is very easy to explore. And if your website, for example, nabihassan.in is linked with Google Analytics, okay, which is free, then you can get very interesting graphs as well. Even you can write a paper as well, like from where you was viewed, how many people viewed your profile, what was their stay time, all those things. And Google, if you have a Gmail ID, you can link your Gmail ID with Google Scholar. It will take just 1 minute, and all your details will be visual. It is very easy. Then you should try to install Google Scholar Publish or Paris. You can have your PPTs uploaded on SlideShare. You can have a LinkedIn profile. Then if you are making use of social networking, then you should make judicious use. Like these are some of the social networking pages of Central Library IIT Delhi. Okay, so we are issuing all the circular, all the information through IIT Delhi Library Network only. I'm not sending any circular, any communication to my staff by email or by you can say printed form generally. So I'm posting that circular on IIT Delhi Library Network, which is a admin control portal only. Okay. Then reference management tools, you can tell your faculty. Then if you are not able to provide remote login facility to your faculty, that's a problem. So you should try to explore. PU is doing good work. We have a VPN. We also have Chevrolet based access management system using InFed. And then we are issuing the passwords as well. But the best way to make your work visible, if it is possible, try to publish in a journal indexed by Web of Science or Scopus or Indian Citation Index, or maybe UGC's CARE list. This is a UGC's list of approved journal. You can consider this as well. Then there are various data visualization tool. Means whatever you are doing, you can make use of these. Some of the data visualization tools. Some of them are paid, some of them are free, which can help you to create really beautiful graph or presented your data in a really better way. So what we need citations. Our institution need lot of citations. So these are some of the tips, because I have already taken lot of time, so I will not be going through these, but this is a list of what you can do to improve the ranking of your institution, department, or individual. If you want to get more citation for your institution or individual or your own work, these are some of the ways you can get more citation, like use unique name or use standardized institutional affiliation and many other things. So this is a complete list of points which you can make use of if you want to improve the citations for yourself, for your department, for your institution. But the most important thing is marketing. If you are really doing good work and you are not telling people that your department is doing good work through different channels, then people may not recognize you. So you need to be a good marketing guy as well. If you are able to market your work, then people will recognize you, your administration will listen to you, they may give you good funding, you may have a very good cordial relation with the people in the administration. And these are the different ways how you can do the marketing. Then, like, I was in Aligarh Muslim University for 2 years only. I came back after 2 years, half month, but I did some of the works there. And as far as AMU culture, everything was got inaugurated by the vice chancellor as well. So lot of plaques were installed. In IIT Delhi, this is not the culture. We are doing work silently, but where there is a need to market, you need to market in different ways as well. like we created River Ganga repository. So a lot of coverage was given in the newspaper. Then we used to share the photographs, like I created a library museum in AMU of manuscripts. So I gave that news to lot of media channels. So in AMU, there was a need to publicize the activities and works as well. But in IIT Delhi, it's a different culture. So you have to see whether your authority or people like it or not like it. Like many people visited AMU library for different right or wrong reasons. So you need to justify your position that library is doing a good work, and you need to justify people that whatever news is going in the media, it is almost correct news. And see, I was given a coverage with the vice chancellor, to vice chancellor as well. So if you are doing good work and you are a good marketing guy, your efforts are recognized by the institution as well. And see, this is the rating on TripAdvisor. So you can try to explore these tools as well, that how you can improve the rating of your department or the library or the institution in sites like TripAdvisor or other sites. Okay, but the best thing is that if the people are appreciating your work personally, then that's a great news. Like this is a girl who could qualify IAS from Aligarh, and when she issued the statement without our knowledge that like Maulana Azad library ka meri safalta mein aham role, when somebody is saying that your library, your teachers, your department has helped you to achieve the objectives, that's a great compliment for you. You feel motivated. It gives you an strength to deliver in a better way. So with this, I would like to sum up that the tools, systems, and case studies which were presented by me in PPT are really very useful for a researcher or analyst or information providers. But you need to explore these, because in this may take whole day to this presentation is generally of my 2.5 hours workshop, but still I tried to cover something about everything. So Albert Einstein said that not everything that counts can be measured. Not everything that can be measured count. What does this mean? It means that everything cannot be measured, and the things which are not measured are not necessarily not important. So everything is important. And with this, I would like to conclude that Charles Darwin said that it is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So this is a COVID time. Keep safe, take care of your health, and continue to deliver in the new normal. Okay, and you have to change yourself according to the situation. Like this is a COVID situation. We have to deliver a lot for the society and for the people, like Professor Preeti is hosting these webinar series despite all these tough situations. So you have to be adaptive with the change. So I would like to acknowledge all the people from where I have taken different content, the social media, the Google, the resources, the people from where I have taken the content. Thank you. Thank you very much for such a long patience hearing. Thank you, Professor Preeti, for giving me this opportunity. It was a wonderful to, in my emotions or movement, I could not stop myself, but I continue for a longer time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan, for your appreciative comments on our webinar series and also about the department in general. And I'm really grateful to you for your highly informative inputs for maximizing the visibility of the institution, as well as how we can map our research publications in a better way. You are very right in saying that if an institution figures at the top ranks, the employees of that institution really feel their morale boosted up. So
Yeah.
it's true that we must do something for making our university's ranking better. So thank you once again. With this, I request Neha to please take up the questions.
Good afternoon, sir. Your session was really informative, as can be seen from the messages. I'll start with the question and answers. The first one is from Salik Ahmed. Sir, I'm sure you're a bit audible, or should I increase my volume?
Yeah. Salik is a great researcher from University of Delhi. He did PhD under Dr. Madhusudan. Yeah,
Okay.
Salik, what is the question?
I'll be speaking the questions because we are not unmuting them. They are just
Okay.
typing. All right.
Fine.
First question is, why can't we self-cite if we find the citation coherent? How can we avoid citing fraudulent and deceptive journals? He's also given a content in brackets. Usually, such journals are open access. Anyone can get carried away with such journal articles. Could you please tell him, sir?
Yeah, I think I missed couple of things, but what I could understand is that of course you can self-cite, but if a paper that you are writing is really related to the citation that you are self-citing, there is no harm. But self-citation is generally not taken as a positive thing. It is taken as a personal promotion. Okay. So other thing I think I missed it. What did you say?
How can we avoid citing fraudulent and deceptive journals?
How you can avoid?
Citing fraudulent and deceptive journals.
I don't know what he's trying to say, but for example, if you want to avoid citing deceptive and predatory journals, you can avoid. I am not sure whether I could understand the question, but if others are citing predatory journals, I think they need to check the quality of the journal, and there are various tools they can check whether it is a predatory journal or is not a predatory journal. Like one can see whether it is indexed by Scopus or Web of Science, although there are many journals in Scopus and Web of Science as well which are predatory, and every year their list is corrected.
Okay. I'll ask the second question, sir. It's from Savita Kundu. Mr. Nabi, what do you suggest who are not included their papers under indexing journals but published and presenting in conference proceedings?
Can you repeat it? First part.
Who are not included in the papers under indexing journals but published and presented in conference proceedings?
So most of the conference proceedings are not indexed by any of the indexing agencies. Like if these are IEEE conference, like you might be aware about Atlas series, which Sanjay Kataria is hosting, Emerging Trends and Technologies Information Services. One of those was held in Bakna Ghat, Sri Ram's Institute, earlier institute. So if the conference is supported by a reputed agency like IEEE, then you need to follow some protocol. Only then it will be indexed. Okay. Otherwise, the conference papers are not indexed. And if you are publishing paper in conference volumes for your promotion, you should be cautious because these things are not considered much as far as the UGC evaluation system is concerned. Because I can quote you one, just a second. I can quote you one example from a very reputed institution from Delhi. What they did, they published the proceedings of their conference with ISBN number, but instead of OCR based PDF, they created the whole volume in PDF using images. What does this mean? It means it cannot be verified with the plagiarism checking software. So I could see that 70-80% content of that conference volume were plagiarized. So I think as a librarian, we know how to plagiarize or how to save ourselves from plagiarism, but I think we should not use these unethical things.
Okay. I'll take up the last question, sir. In some papers, we observe that the expert mentioned their institution's full name, and whereas some mention short forms. Does this affect the research result of papers of the respective institution?
This is a very thing I have already highlighted. You should use only one variant. For example, if you are using, I missed to show you one slide. I have included my presentation. The Punjab University Chandigarh has been reflected with two names, Punjab University and Punjab University, Chandigarh. And there are some publication with Punjab University. There are some publication with Punjab University, Chandigarh. Both the publication perhaps have not been merged. So you should try to see that how your institution is represented in Scopus or Web of Science. Okay, you should use only that name. For example, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. This is one single name. If somebody is using Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi or IIT Delhi, it may go in somebody else's account. So this is very important. This will really harm your institute's ranking and your citation count as well.
Okay.
This is
Thank
what
you.
I
Yeah,
do
this-
agree with you, Dr. Hassan. There's another problem with the female's name, the name before the marriage and name after the marriage. I have some citations to my name as Preeti Goyal and others by the name of Preeti Mahajan.
So,
So
madam,
that also creates
like you can see there is an ad by Akshay Kumar which is very popular कि राजकुमारी राजकुमार को बचाती है, तो वो कहता है बेटा
exactly.
कहानियां चेंज हो गई हैं. तो I think madam we should continue with the name which is popular.
Popular,
Okay,
yeah.
instead of changing our name.
Right.
We can call by Tinku, Minku, Chinku at home, but there is no need to change the name as far as academic writings are concerned. I mean, this is my personal perception.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you for your insightful take on how we should go ahead with this. And now I would request Dr. Shiv Kumar to go ahead with the word of thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Neha. Audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Department of Library Information Science, I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Navi Hassan for accepting our invitation to deliver a talk. Sir, your talk was very wonderful, very informative. Your well thought topic was well thought. Very, you can say, beautiful topic to manage, that is mapping and maximizing academic visibility and impact of research output. It's very important one for academic community, researcher, library professional, even the student. You have highlighted all aspects very beautifully in plain words. You have explained how to evaluate. You also have demonstrated peer review perception. You have given live example how Professor S.P. Singh approach to you, the department doing well, you can deliver a talk. We are very happy. Peer perception is very important. How peers evaluate ourselves. Another important thing that you have demonstrated how we can calculate H index, and you made the difference between H index, C index, how we can calculate impact factor. So more important thing is that if we do work ourselves as a researcher, we go straight to institute, then institute to country. This is very important. If a person cannot work himself or herself, he or she cannot work for anyone. If we are doing ourselves, then we can contribute to the country. If we are doing well, the country will be recognized by the institution. These universities are doing well. So this was very. Further, you explain how libraries can take various initiatives regarding marketing, various email ke through, various things. Or you also mentioned that how disruptive tool can be used for the positive perceptions. So with this, I can say at the end, I am hopeful that all participants have learned a lot from your lecture. Those who are beginner, this lecture was very important. And now I am grateful to Punjab University authorities, especially our Vice Chancellor, allowing us to organize this webinar. I also thank all participants for being with us. My thanks also goes to faculty, research scholars, students of our department for their unending support. Thank you all. We will be meeting again in our next international webinar on 24th June at 7:30. Till then, stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan. Once again, I appreciate your efforts in delivering the talk despite the circumstances at your end, as you said, number of corona cases in your institute and the hot weather, which was quite visible on your face throughout the talk. So I'm really grateful to you, and I assure you I'm going to share the recording of your talk with my authorities so that we can take up those small little things which you have shared with us so that we can improve upon our ranking. So thank you once again. And thank you all the participants. We'll be meeting again on 24th, as Dr. Shiv has said, in the evening at 7:30 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam. Actually, I was not using fan or any other thing. Close the windows to avoid hissing noise. So that is why
I'm really grateful to you. You were saying
So-
like anything. I could make out that because of the noise, you must have turned off the fan as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you,
really
madam.
sorry for that.
Oh, it's a privilege. It's my. I consider PU my own institution because
Thank you. So nice. So nice.
Shetty sir was so nice, and
Yes, very true.
we are grateful to him, to the departed soul who gave me an opportunity in Palampur as an assistant librarian at the age of 22 only. That is why I
Okay.
could become librarian of AMU, the youngest librarian, perhaps youngest at
I-
IIT Delhi as well.
I had visited the AMU library. It's a great library.
Yeah,
You were
true.
showing that manuscript section and all that. I had visited that all the sections.
So now, luckily, madam, we have created the museum as well with the help of advisor of Obama. Obama's advisor, Mr. Frank Islam, visited AMU, and he has given so much money to AMU that we could create so many things. So now we
That's
have
a
a beautiful
great
museum.
university.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
Thank
university.
you. Thank you,
Thank
madam.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.